Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohort, Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Well, JP's first son, Tim Hoey, and the professor, Russell Stevens, they're not here tonight. So, like old times, it's Uncle Joe and I.
Holding down the fort in Brookline.
We talk about the original 6 NHL teams. You and I are part of the original 2 of the Grandstanders.
Well, wasn't it us and Al
It
Kamol?
was initially it was Al, and then we added Russ,
Yeah,
and then Pete,
yeah,
and then Timmy.
yeah.
So those have been the regulars.
And
But
you tried to get Theo's brother there, twin brother in there for a
Paul,
while.
yeah,
He wouldn't,
Paul.
but that was a whole crazy, chaotic night that night.
I know
Remember?
we were
We
running
had
on.
more delays that night than every other night put together in all the 10 years we've been doing this.
I know that was I know that was crazy, right? But
I can't blame him for never coming back.
no, such is life. I know that didn't work out that well, but he threw us a lot of interns over the years, if you remember. So
Yeah.
that was good. All right, we
Oh, and
start.
Kevin Booth, he was
Yeah. Oh,
now
Kevin
of the
Booth was a
Sky.
regular for
Yeah.
a while. He was on the
Yeah.
show a number of times. You're right. Played for the New York Giants, as many people know. All right, boys. Well, Uncle Joe, we're going to start with the Boston Red Sox. Look, we talked about if they could come back from this West Coast trip 5-5, we'd be very happy. Is that right?
Yep. I can tell you've been very enthusiastic about this stat they've had.
Look, all right, let's break it down. Look, 5-2 is look again. You can and anybody who talks about who they play should really they
Oh,
should hand out
last year
in
they
their
lost two
sports
out
card.
of three to Oakland. Remember? They won the first game and then they lost the next two.
Yeah,
So,
look. Yeah, Bayo got rocked. I remember in one of those games. First of all, you play your schedule. They're going to be bad teams. They're going to be good teams. You got to post wins. This is how
yeah.
it works. And in baseball is a different animal. Baseball's not like football, football and basketball. You can lose to a crappy team 2 out of 3. It's just how
Yeah.
this baseball works. Like the Celtics are rarely going to lose to the
Well,
Pistons.
last year, remember the Celtics were 0-3 against Orlando.
Yeah, right.
0-3 against Orlando, and Orlando's not that good a team.
No.
It happens, but in baseball, it happens more often because in 162 games, and a game that's dependent on pitching, guys are going to have good games against you, guys are going to have bad games against you. It's just it all works out in the end. That's why baseball truly used to always have the best of the best in their, October Classic. Remember, you had 10 teams in the AL, 10 teams in the NL, only first place, no
Yeah,
playoffs,
right.
only first place.
Yeah. But look, yeah, even the best teams, and there haven't been that many teams in the history of baseball who've won 100 games
Yeah.
plus. Uh, and that's still you lost 62 if you win 100. So
Yeah.
baseball, look, I'm grateful for all the victories they posted. I'll talk about some positives. And look, the positives right now, of course, as far as the positional players, has to start with Jaron Duran. The kid he's one of the most exciting players that the Red Sox have ever had.
Well, you forget, remember, because he was injured the whole last couple of months of the season last year. He was doing this last year too. He was a terror on the base paths last year until he got hurt.
And the Red Sox record, Joe, with Duran last year and without him, it's incredible.
Yeah, I remember Cora speaking in spring training, and he said, "As long as that guy's around, he's my leadoff guy. I don't care who else is on the team."
He's been incredible, and then the kid his speed is off the charts. He's faster than Ellsbury, and
And
Ellsbury's
with
one
the
of the fastest guys that I've seen on the
yeah,
Red Sox.
and with the new rules that help out the base stealers, you know, you,
Yeah, with the bigger
he,
bases, you can only throw over twice. Hey,
yeah,
Joe, I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe you don't know this. So you can only throw over twice, right?
yeah.
So if a runner advances and you've already thrown over twice, can you throw over again at the new base?
I assume so. Why not?
So So you have so it
But
starts.
how often do you throw to second? A pickup play is second.
No, but I'm saying it starts over again then.
Yeah,
But saying first of all, if the moment the pitcher throws twice to first base, you should just be running. He can't throw to first base anymore.
he can throw to second though. He can wheel and throw to second if
No, he can't. He
get
can't.
you running.
No, you cannot. You cannot. You can't do a pickup play to a base.
Oh, you throw the runner out that's trying to advance. You can throw to second. You just can't throw it over to first anymore. No more throwing to first.
I don't know if you can do that. I think you have to go to.
Or you know that this
I've never.
involves
I
the
haven't seen it,
strategy.
Joe. Joe, I haven't
This
seen it.
involves the strategy though. You can always pitch out too.
Yes.
There are a number of strategies you can use to subvert that. You know, once you've had two throws over, you can't have the third. You know,
I don't know if the pitch out's going to matter though.
no, with the bigger bases and the bigger jump they get nowadays, and the fact that they can time the pitches now with the pitch clock, that's another big one. They know when the guy ain't coming over to them. They know he's just wind
Absolutely
up to the
right.
plate.
Yeah, absolutely. There should be more stolen bases than there were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Durant,
And we've seen a lot of, Rafaela, Duran, even Story, getting in on the act. If you're out there, go ahead. Take
Durant's been
them.
a huge positive in this season. Rafaela, not a great hitter, swings at everything, but has been A++ center fielder.
Yeah, he's Gold Glove caliber, and he'll settle down at the plate. He looked a lot better at the end of last year than he does now. He's a little over anxious, I think.
Yeah.
His first time up as a real major leaguer.
Also, get to Fenway Park, and I think things will change a little bit. Remember, they've been on the road.
Yeah.
And Tyler O'Neill, if he stays healthy, looks like he was a nice addition.
Oh, he looks like he belongs. He looks good defensively out in right field. He's the equal of Verdugo out there.
Oh,
He might
absolutely.
even
Yeah.
have a better arm. And I like him at the plate. And we need him from that side,
Yeah. Third base, Devers. Again, bottom line is Devers is easy. I'm not exaggerating. 40 pounds overweight. I mean, that again, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his middle, look at how big his ass is. His ass is as big as Venezuela.
I don't know, 35, 40 home runs and 120 RBIs consistently,
We
We'll
didn't get
take
that
it.
last year, Joe. He was terrible.
What he got 35 and 100.
Joe, you watched the season. We talked about it. It was
Yeah.
again,
Oh, well, no, I agree with you. I didn't consider that a great season, but the production, you have to go with that. He had a terrible season, I thought, last year, both in the field and at the plate. The numbers belie his true production
yeah.
because and he wasn't a clutch hitter last year.
No, not even
Verdugo
from.
was their best clutch hitter, and Turner. Turner and Verdugo were the only real good clutch hitters last year.
And when we talk about clutch, I mean, I don't know this just stats, but I don't have them in front of me. But him getting runners in from third base with less than 2 outs, he was horrific last year at doing that, and he's been bad again this year.
Yeah, when all you need is a sacrifice fly, just give him the sacrifice. Just give him the sacrifice fly. Little
Yeah.
back control. He has a habit of swinging at anything. He's a bad ball hitter too. He can get to everything. You got to give him that. He's Yogi Berra, part two. If the ball is skipping in the dirt, he'll hit it out for a home run. If the ball's a foot over his head, he can hit it out for a home run.
But this lineup is not strong enough for Devers not to be productive.
No, and you need a lot more right-handed beef.
Yeah,
you need at least a couple upgrades in the right-handed department, I think.
Well, Trevor Story, look, I had texted to the group last week. I didn't think that every time Story comes up, I always think he's going to strike out.
Yeah, his middle name should be K.
But he had some clutch hits at the end of the A series. Let's see if it carries over. But defensively, other than that ridiculous play made in the ninth inning,
and he threw it away.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
he's a very steady influence over there. I think he's a good influence on the.
yeah,
It was Valdez that threw it away in the ninth. Story threw it away in the eighth. Remember?
yeah, right. I can't believe they won that game. So they should have won one of those Seattle games, the Seattle game that went to extra innings, and they
Yep.
definitely should have lost.
Oh, when they scored a couple runs in the extra inning, and then they couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, they should have won that game, but they should have lost yesterday. They did not deserve. Even
Oh,
Burris said they did not deserve to win
that
that
was
game.
two room service double plays served up to them, and both times they just threw it away.
Yeah, Valdez is he's a 4A guy.
Oh yeah,
You know, you could plug him and play him for a couple of days and he won't hurt you completely, but you
and
can't have
he'll
Aaron.
throw a home run your way every once in a while too.
Yeah,
So
but you can't yeah. So are they banking too much on this Vaughn Grissom, who clearly for a young guy, I've never heard of a guy who pulls a hamstring is out 7 weeks.
yeah, obviously of a delicate nature, but I think if you can get him as the regular and Valdez as your backup is fine. In an emergency, there's always Nick York somewhere in the minors to call up.
But Joe, like you said, we need right-handed pop, and
Yes.
this just shows you how glaring. How do you not re-sign Justin Turner?
Oh, he had such a great year for him. I think they were just pissy about they would have to pay him $9 million for this
Yeah,
year anyways,
I think you're right.
and give him a new contract.
I
So
know,
it would end up being a $20 million contract. That's what they were pissy about.
yes, I know. You're right, but you could argue he was the best player on the team last year
Oh, I thought so. Well, he was the best hitter, that's for sure.
and clutch guy.
Yeah, always came through
Yeah.
so many times for them.
And if you put him in this lineup right now, it really looks good.
Yeah, and he loved Fenway Park.
Yeah,
It was his place.
yeah.
He tattooed the wall. He had power to both alleys and straight into left. So
There's it's just ridiculous. And then Cases, he's definitely struggled, but it's early.
he
I
did
guess
this last year. Remember what was he hitting 170 last year for the first 2 months, and then he caught fire. Maybe let's hope it's the same kind of thing. He needs a little acclimation before he
My
gets
father
going.
used to say this about all the big sluggers. He said these big sluggers, they need warm weather. These guys don't function that once the weather gets warm, these guys their big bodies warm up and of course that's what it was last year.
And the ball starts to jump too.
Yeah,
It's a dead ball. The ball's dead when it's cold.
the summer hit last year in Cases was he'll be fine. I don't worry about him, but the phenomena that is Reese McGuire. We've taken Reese out of the Walmart parking lot, Joe, and we brought him into the major leagues. And the guy actually, he looked like he was totally phoning it in last year. He looks completely engaged this year. Right now, is Reese McGuire
It's a
the number
contract year now, Scotty.
must be. Is he the number one catcher? Because if he's going to play against righties, he's going to be playing a lot.
Oh yeah, but I think it's contract year, and Kyle Teal's breathing down his neck. He's starting to produce. A little motivation there.
Well, he's a lot better here than look. I don't need this short little.
He was so much. 2 years ago he was so much better of a hitter than he was last year. And he was.
That's right.
Remember, and he was the height of stupidity. Remember him walking off the game
when we were at that game.
Yep. He thought it was a home run.
Yeah, he's clearly a moron. I mean that for sure. When you get caught, jacking on yourself in Walmart parking lot in Florida, and you get arrested. After that, you don't ever live that down with the internet world, do you?
Oh no, that's never going away.
You can bet every game he is reminded of that by somebody in the crowd.
Yep, and the visiting announcers maybe make mention of the fact that he has a misdemeanor on his record.
Yeah, Google Reese McGuire. I'm sure they say that at some point, especially if it's a wipeout. Connor Wong's your backup. So the pitching. I told you that I'm not completely sold on Bayo. I'm fine with the Red Sox signing him to an extension because I want the Red Sox to spend money. But he's truly not a number one in any
Yeah.
sport.
Oh, and he was wild in that second outing. I mean, he just couldn't locate the ball at all. Well, the Bruins were playing that night, and I had to when you texted me, I switch over, and he couldn't locate any of his
No, it's
pitches.
hanging everything, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Pavetta has been fantastic. Pavetta has been fantastic for quite a while. He's a free agent after this year. He's the kind of guy. I know you guys joke me about signing these guys, but he's the kind of guy that you should pay.
Well, he's the kind of guy you like, a good soldier.
Yeah.
He's a fighter. He's the kind of guy the fans like, the coach likes, everyone likes.
And with a depressed pitchers market, you could probably get Pavetta right now. What 3, 4, what 50 total?
Yeah, but Pavetta always starts the season red hot, and then something happens. I don't know
But
what
would
it
you
is.
sign him to 350?
But why not? It's not my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd sign him to it. I like having him around. I think he's last year when he just failed as a starter halfway through the season, he was a firecracker as
Yeah.
a long reliever.
Yeah.
He came in and saved their bacon many times in those bullpen games.
Yeah. Yeah. Kennedy, who if his when Sam's not telling the truth, it's when his mouth is moving.
Yeah.
He said in a podcast that I saw excerpts that the Red Sox were, still in negotiations with a couple of the younger players to re-up them for extensions. If he's telling the truth, which grain of salt, Kennedy, would you imagine that Pivetta, who's really going to be their only free agent, key free agent next year, would be the guy?
Who's that? Who's a free agent?
Pivetta.
Oh, he's saying young, so he means Duran, Cassis, and Cassis that claims, they just came in with a low ball and he hasn't heard, they rejected and he hasn't heard anything since.
Yeah, well, Cases has a couple more weeks like he had the first weekend. He'll be jumping
They'll
it.
pull that off the table.
Yeah, look, I don't understand it. If all of a sudden you have a team offering you $70 million to play and guaranteeing that you'll never have to work another day in your life for your life, and your family will be set, generations will be set. All you have to do is here's his pen and sign your name. Joe, you have to do it.
Especially when he's got a contract, that he can't get out of right now. It can't,
For a number of years, he'll be making
Yeah.
the minimum, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that means if he gets injured, look, if he gets into a car accident, whatever, slips on a piece of ice and hurts himself, he never gets paid, and he ends up having to go get a real job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Bayo jumped at it.
Smart.
And I don't blame him. That's pretty, and he didn't get as much as Cases will get because pitches are a much iffier proposition on a long-term type deal.
Yeah.
They have way more injuries and more season-ending injuries and losing a whole year and a half type injuries that you don't get from the position players.
All right, I got to take a leak. So talk to me about talk to me about Alex Corin. What kind of job you think he's done?
Well, I think he's doing a real good job again. He's handling the bullpen like a maestro, other than that Joely Rodriguez, who's a stiff. Everyone else has been contributing. Kenley's been fine. Martin's been fine. The new kid, I forget his name, has been outstanding. So, and the starters have been going fairly deep into the game, which helps quite a bit. they've been going 5-6, whereas last year it was 4-5. But what's the new kid's name that's done so well? The Rule 5 kid that
Slayton.
yeah, he's been outstanding for
Yeah.
just a piece off the scrap heap for the most
Yeah.
part.
Very, very composed, right?
Who was he? He was the Phillies, and the Mets picked him up as a Rule 5, and then
Yeah.
they
I
immediately
don't,
traded him to the
right.
Red Sox.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. That was a nice pickup. And from the get-go of spring training, they were talking about Slayton and then how good he looked. And, you know, there's been talk if you trade Jansen that Slayton would be your closer. So they
I
really
don't know.
like this.
I'd be, someone that inexperienced. I wouldn't really want to put in that kind of high leverage situation on a daily basis. But hey, they think he's got the makeup mentally
Yeah,
for
I
it.
think
Go
they
for it.
do. Yeah. And the kid, what Weissert has been very
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
and that was part of the Verdugo deal. Um, uh, look, I think the bullpen is actually, other than Rodriguez, who's just horrific and has done well. The bullpen's
Yeah.
been excellent, right? No complaints.
Yeah, yeah. Other than Joe Ellie, they've been fine. Oh, did you notice Verdugo was in the news today? The Yankees have stopped him from wearing his chains.
Yeah,
He's
and
allowed only one chain now.
yeah, and apparently Aaron Boone will not explain why he's doing that. He's already worn out his welcome there. He's
Yeah.
he's already worn out his
He-
welcome.
his mouth must be going.
Of course he is. He's not a good fit, and he's batting 160. He
Yeah,
had he had a home run last game, but he's batting 160.
yeah.
Verdugo, look, Verdugo at the last month or two, he phoned it in. He
Oh
wasn't even
yeah. He
trying.
he and Cora didn't get along. That
He
they
wasn't even swinging. I mean,
yeah.
it was an embarrassment. Half swings. He didn't care whatsoever. I don't think you can turn it on and off anymore. That actually is going to end up when we talk about, look, this the Mookie Betts deal was just horrific, but Breslow did acquire this Weissert kid, Fitz, who's going to actually be a starter, who's going to start a game against the Rangers, I think, next week, and then they got another kid, a minor league pitcher too. So what he got for Verdugo might end up to be a real good deal.
And everyone thought they weren't. They were just has been prospects in the Yankee
No,
organization.
no, this is a good deal. And Verdugo is a free
Yeah.
agent after this year, and I'm pretty sure the Yankees aren't going to re-up Verdugo.
Yeah, I don't see it. Especially where they've got some nice outfielders there and Judge,
Yeah, they do.
Soto, and
Yeah,
so they don't need Alex all that much.
and again, what we learned with Grant Williams, Joe, you cannot have fringe players who open
Talk
their
too
mouth at
much.
all.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to hear from fringe players at all.
yeah,
Just, here you go. Aaron, can I fill up your drink? That's about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Do you need ice, Juan Soto?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's a joke. All right, so overall, obviously, what do you give a grade for the Red Sox the first week?
Oh, for the first week they get an A minus, just the minus for the two losses.
Right. Otherwise, they look good, and the games were
Yeah,
entertaining.
we expected them to come back from this road trip with their tail between their legs, 2-8 to start the season.
Yeah.
But this gives them a chance to start the season on a high note, and sometimes that can carry over quite a bit.
It
I
sure.
know
Oh,
I bet the under in there, but I'd be very happy to lose that lousy $100 anyways.
Joe, I'm a big fan of winning the opening day. I'm a huge fan of winning the first game
Yeah,
of the year. But look, I think the team, they always historically, whether they had good teams or bad teams, have always done poor on the West Coast. That's just been it for the Red Sox. And to start the season, which is smart, right? Can you imagine? All these games would have been postponed if they had
yeah.
been here this week. And they need to do this every year, right? They need to be opening up on the West Coast every year. There's no reason to be here.
Or yeah, but I understand why they don't like to do it, because it kind of you can get off to a very bad start, and it ends up the start of a losing season. You go 2-8,
Right, but
you
I
come
mean,
back.
Right, I know, but if you have a good team, and like you said, you could play Tampa, who has an indoor stadium, you could play Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, you just don't come to Boston, Massachusetts and think you're gonna play late March, early April. It's gonna be nothing but nasty.
Yeah.
But yes, can't look, and the games have been exciting and the pace has been very quick. These games, what yesterday's game was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's a
And
pleasure
they're
to
going to
watch.
shorten the pitching clock again
Is that right?
by a couple seconds more. Yeah.
Wow. Well, they really. So you guys didn't react, but this ABS, the umpire,
Oh, that they're using in the minor
they're
leagues?
using in AAA. It's
Yeah.
happening next year. I mean, there's no question. It's graduated to. I think it started the Arizona Fall League, and then it goes Single A, Double A. It's now AAA. It's going next year, and
Yeah. In one of those losses to Seattle, the ump was squeezing the shit out of
oh
Pavetta,
yeah,
wasn't he?
oh my
He was
God,
just
terrible.
given three, three strikes called low. And the
Nobody should
ABS,
have these discussions anymore on no matter what in baseball. Just if it's a strike, if the computer says it's a strike, everyone lives with it. We don't need this where we're talking about the
now
umpires every
what?
game.
How does it work in the AAA? The ABS call strike. I know you get one challenge per inning, isn't it?
No, so Tuesdays through Fridays, Tuesdays through Thursday, because then the ABS handles everything.
Yeah.
Um, then Friday through Sunday, I think you have 3 challenges a game each team, which is ridiculous
Hmm.
because the challenges are quick. But it should just be the ABS. Then I don't. They're just screwing around. Obviously they're trying to placate the umpires.
Umpires Union. Yeah.
But again, it doesn't. There's no jobs lost. I mean, the umpire is still behind the plate.
Yep. You just got an easier job, just not to call balls and strikes anymore.
Yeah. So his main goal is to deal with plays at the plate and
Foul fair. He
fouls.
calls it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then bunt tips and stuff like that. So it's not killing the job. But they're going to go through it, and everybody's going to be very happy. Look, they've had it in tennis for years.
Yeah.
It's worked out just fine. Nobody's complained.
Do you
All
see
right,
the new rules in tennis though? They're
what?
not letting the guy sit down anymore. Remember, you can sit down between points, take a little rest, pretend to work on your racket and stuff. No more sitting down. Even in the men's with, you got to go
Wait a minute. No,
win
no,
3 out of 5 sets.
no. They can sit down during the breaks.
Not during a set.
No, Joe. No, that's not.
Nope, these are the new rules that going to try out
So,
this year.
so during the breaks, you have to stand
Oh,
up.
during the breaks you can, between sets, yes.
No,
But
no.
during the play of game, nope, no sitting down.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. All right. We're
That's
gonna go
because they're responding to the complaints. They have a couple of more rules too. They're responding to the complaints that tennis is way too slow.
yeah. Well,
Takes forever to a match can. Well, a match can be 8 hours, for God's
yeah.
sakes.
Well, nobody look as longtime season ticket holders and have watched many games over many years. Nobody complains about a game being only 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Nope.
Anyone normal? You're happy. Nice pace. You got plenty of action. It's not like you saw the
Yeah.
same amount of outs.
You probably save $50 on buying the kids stuff,
Yeah, right. Just that's So the pace has been great. Nobody misses the non. Nobody. Is there anybody you think who still wants there not to be a time clock? You
No, I haven't heard. Everyone likes it. I've never heard one complaint about that.
Yeah, and nobody can agree on anything these days, so that they agree on
But they
this.
agree on that
Yeah,
baseball was dragging its ass for too long
yeah,
about everything. And it had gotten, in the old days, the players were honest about playing the game. And all games were 2 hours and 15 minutes, right?
yeah,
And then all of a sudden in this century, the pitchers started taking the extra 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds to build up extra so they could throw harder, because that's the game now. Throw 98, 100. And you can't do it without taking a good long break between.
yeah. and then the hitters were just trying to get FaceTime.
Yeah, and that, and they would, after the pitcher kept them waiting, they'd step out and make him wait a little.
Yeah, right.
It got to be a game, and
Ridiculous.
a single pitch could take 5 minutes.
You could turn on the Celtics and there'd be 10, 15 points scored before a pitch was thrown. I used to be able to leave the seat, go and jump in a cab and
Get
be
home.
in between an inning and be back home before that half an inning would end.
Yeah, but now it's got on the timer there, which helps in a couple of ways because now you only get one chorus of Sweet Caroline in before you have to shut them down.
Oh, that's even better. I know. Gee.
That the timer worked in our favor there too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't wait to. We got a big week coming up with the Red Sox. It's supposed to be some nice weather.
Yeah. Yes, nice weather, warm next week. So who do they open with? The Orioles?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
That's a good team.
yeah. But that'll be fun to
Good
watch.
young team. I don't know anyone on the team really. The names are all unfamiliar because they're all,
We get the
1 to
catcher.
3 years.
We get
What?
the Gunnar Henderson.
He's a shortstop. Yeah, everyone knows him.
But do you have the catcher? He's a
Yeah,
big star.
he's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
This-
think the Red Sox are hoping Teal is another type like him because you
Oh,
pencil.
I hope so too. Basically, all Teal's got to do probably, where he was 4 years in college. He knows how to catch, knows how to throw runners out. He knows how to hit. Probably, he's faced decent competition in hitting. It's how to handle a major league pitching staff.
Well, Teal will be up in.
He won't call games anyways. He's not going to call games at first anyways. I'm sure Cora, if he was behind the plate, Cora would call the game.
Yeah, but Teal will be up by September.
I think so.
Yeah, he'll be a call up.
So McGuire, that's the motivation McGuire is needed, maybe.
Well, maybe if somebody needs a catcher before the deadline, excuse me, maybe they try to, pawn McGuire off for
Pump and dump, yeah.
a young pitcher or something. But it's gonna be very interesting. This is they're all big weeks, but again, if they can take 2 out of 3 in against the Angels, they come back 7-3. Fun time in Fenway Park. That should be
the park will be hopping. Everyone will be ecstatic, waiting for them.
absolutely. All right, we gotta go.
I didn't think I'd hear a "Let's Go Red Sox" until we were halfway through the season, man. But they're going to be loud on opening day.
Oh my God! If they win, yeah, 2 out of 3 would be very, very nice. Let's go to the Celtics. Beating OKC last night. I don't care that they were missing their top 2 guys. They won by 35 points. They would have won if those 2 top guys were there. They weren't going to mean 35 points.
Yeah, the Celtics are just playing games right now. They're practicing. You've watched they're practicing their offensive sets.
Yeah,
when they come down. On that road trip, it was kind of funny watching them. They were trying to teach KP how to play defense.
yeah.
In Atlanta, how to get through screens and how to do switches and stuff. He looked terrible, but he looked like he was having fun learning. He was giving it a try. He stunk. He was garbage out there, but he was really enthusiastic about what he was doing. So I give him props, and I give Missoula props because that's something you can throw at a team. You can't just play the drop defense all the time. If the other team's beating it, then you send him out. If they're draining threes, send him out. He'll stop that.
Yeah, these are scrimmages right now. They really are.
Yeah.
Look, I think the only thing that's going to stop the Celtics winning a championship is the Denver Nuggets.
Yep, that's a good solid team with a great offensive rotation, great
coach.
defense too. Coach knows what he's doing.
Won the title, and they're really fun to watch. They're really, and I really love that team as far as visiting teams to watch play. They really are fun, and they give some solid guys. That will be a hell of a series. It really was.
Murray's got to be the most underrated guy. You never hear about him, at least
No.
around here. Maybe out in the Western Conference they talk about him. Around here, you never hear anyone talk about him.
So in control. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's what, who's better in their prime right now? Would you take Kyrie or Jamal Murray?
Oh, Kyrie in a heartbeat. Kyrie's considered by most people the most skilled basketball player in history.
Well, I don't know about that.
Who's more skilled? Now, there's better players for sure. Much better players, better clutch players, better this, better that. But no one's a better shooter, passer, ball handler.
Michael Jordan is better than Kyrie Irving, Joe. Kobe
Nah,
Bryant.
if go to the stats, the
I don't
shooting
know.
is about the same.
Where are you
In fact, Kyrie's a better shooter. Passing, I'll give to Jordan, but
defensively?
the handle, you're going to give Michael Jordan the handle over Kyrie. No one will do.
No. All right. Other than the handle, I'll give. Come on.
The shooting is straight up. I'll give Jordan because he did it in the clutch.
Defensively,
Kyrie's got better numbers.
Kyrie doesn't play any defense.
Oh, agreed.
So
I just said he was the most skilled. I didn't say he was the best player. I don't even keep him in. Wouldn't even put Kyrie in the top 30.
yeah. Well, I guess skilled in a sense. He is. I'll give you the best handle. He has the best handle I've ever seen
In history, easily.
Yes, I'll give you absolutely that. But and yes, he's a very good shooter. But plays no defense. Not a great passer.
No.
So I mean, so I think you just basically when you talk skills, you're talking his handle. That's it.
Now he's a decent passer. You're not a point guard without being, but now with the Mavericks, Luka handles the ball.
Yeah.
Luka dribbles the life out of the ball. If he gives you the ball, you better do something with it because he
just backs you up. That's what he does. He just he's such a big body.
He's huge for a guy.
Who'd you take? I have to be honest with you. I would take Tatum right now over Luka.
It'd be hard. It would all depend on the team you had, what you needed.
Well, now that Tatum I think Tatum plays better defense than Luka. Luka doesn't play any defense.
Oh yeah, Luka plays none, but Luka's a much better clutch player. How many times has he killed the Celtics with threes at the end of the game?
This is the thing about Tatum.
No time remaining.
Joe, in the clutch, he's a horrific shooter because he doesn't get good shots off. He always puts himself in bad positions because it's 1-on-5.
I blame Missoula just as much for that. He's giving him the ball. You got to give it to someone else and let them give it to him. Yes. When he's only single covered.
And set some picks, do some plays. Yeah. Everybody knows what you're going to do. All of a sudden, you're just letting Tatum bring the ball up.
I keep hoping that they're just doing this and they have some plays for the playoffs. But it doesn't seem like it.
This has been since Tatum's been in the league. It's been the same shit.
For a couple times, they ran that play where they'd give it to someone else and he'd be on a dead run and they'd shovel it like a running back to him.
Right.
And he'd have his guy beat by then and he'd go with the ball then, drive to the hoop, which I like better. If he's going to the hoop, if he misses, he's going to get 2 shots.
It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again.
But every team in the league does it. It's an unwritten rule. I've said this before. The best players before Tatum. Remember, it was Paul Pierce always had to have the ball at the end of the game.
But Pierce generally got himself in the position where he would do that step back from about 15 feet,
which was a good shot for him. The step back is Tatum's worst. That fadeaway.
He's doing a step back from 30 feet.
Yeah.
A fadeaway. No, look, Pierce was
going to the side when he's doing it.
Pierce was a pretty clutch guy.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Tatum.
But every team does this. LeBron's got to have it at the end.
Look, Tatum should be going to the basket in the clutch. That's his best deal. The guy is a freak. Long arms, tall, fast,
Mm.
flexible. Just go to the basket.
But if you throw it into him or let him bring it up, he's going to get trapped or double teamed as soon as he gets
I
across
I know he
half
is.
court. You know it. I know it. We all know it. And if he's double or triple team, that means someone's open.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday is the best in the NBA at corner threes. If he's sitting there all alone, give him the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either he'll have a good shot or he'll drop a
Jaylen
bounce
Brown's
pass to
clutch
a
guy.
cutter to Jaylen Brown for the easy two,
Yeah.
Guys like Holiday and White know what to do with the ball. Whether to shoot, they do the right thing. Shoot, pass, they find the right thing to do in the situation.
Is Tatum going to be okay? Would Tatum be okay with winning a championship and not being the guy who hit the final shot?
Of course he would. Of course he would. But
Okay.
till then, he wants that final shot. It's
Yeah.
like if you're the best player in the team, it's your God-given right or something. I don't like it.
I
You
know
don't
it's
like it,
true, Joe. It's totally true.
but
I don't know. You're right. I don't understand it. It's the right. It's a rite of passage. You know, I know.
the NBA has got to get beyond that. That's pretty, high school, college type thing, where your best player is way better than everybody else on the team.
But he's not. I mean, you
No,
can
they got three other all-star caliber type players in White,
oh,
Brown, KP. I mean, Holiday. You got guys that have done it in
White.
the past. Yeah.
It's really a remarkable team. They have to win it this year. This would be such a choke job.
If they don't win it this year, or maybe they can get another shot next year. It might be another 10 years before you
Yeah,
talk,
yeah. I don't look again.
because they have to break it up.
Look,
Have to.
for all we love the Celtics, but we were fortunate enough to have been there during the glory times. But since 1986, which is a long time ago, Joe, 38 years they've won one title. That's not a storied franchise. You got to start win. You have to win one. You got to win this year.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
They got to win two. They should win this year and next year.
Let's just win this one, and then we can talk about that. It's the pressure's all beyond. I mean, the Bruins had pressure last year and they choked shit, but this is beyond pressure. I don't remember any team in the history of Boston sports, other than the Patriots, the undefeated season when they played the Super Bowl, who have to win.
Yeah, higher. Is that the expectations?
Would you agree?
They should be. Yeah, the expectations are high, and they should be. The team they've won what you predicted 60 games. They got their 60, and they're going to put some icing on the cake for you.
Yeah, but this is it. And I mean, and the stat geeks just love this team with all the stats they could pop up.
What did I come up with here? There was I had something I wrote down. Oh yeah, number one in net rating, which is the third best of all time right now.
All time.
Yep.
All time.
All time. Every team ever in the NBA. Right. Currently, they're number 3 in defensive rating in the NBA. They're number 1 in offensive rating, and the number 1 team of all time, the highest offensive rating team of all time, and it's not even close.
Wow.
And they're number 1 in 3-point percentage. I know Tim doesn't want to hear that. He don't like that.
Well, how
and they're also number 1 in total shooting percentage. And
look, I think they beat the Heat, which is just, I can't even believe that they lost to the Heat to this day. I think they would have lost to the Nuggets last year.
Oh yeah, the Nuggets were steamrolling last year.
Yeah, they were machines.
They weren't taking prisoners.
Yeah.
Another thing about the Celtics this year, they've only, what have they played? 75 games so far. Only 35 games with the starting 5 together.
Yeah, well, that's
less than half the games.
Look. I think that they may rest KP. I don't know if KP plays every game in the playoffs, even if he's healthy.
No, I think he will. He looks stronger. I think Jaylen Brown's
You're
got
up
to be
3-0 in the
working,
series.
lifting weights or something because he looks bigger. Don't you
If
think he
you're,
looks
yeah,
than he did at the beginning of the season? You rest Al, you don't rest KP.
if you're up 3-0 in the series, though, you may rest him.
Yeah.
You got to make sure. If you're 3-0 in the series, come on.
Yeah, well, and it depends on the matchup too.
Yeah. Who we
If
hope
you because I mean you've got big guys you can throw at them, and you got four big guys in Tillman, Cornette, Al, and Cada. So you can give KP the day off, even in the playoffs.
Yeah. So who we hoping for playoff match? It's going to be the playing game's going to be
Anyone but the
Indiana,
Sixers.
Philly. Right now, it's Indiana, Philly will play each other, and Chicago, Atlanta. So if Indiana beats Philly, they would be the 7th seed. Chicago, Atlanta are going to play 9th and 10th seed right now. It looks like that's pretty much going to be it. I mean, it looks like the playing games.
I'd love to play Chicago.
Chicago or Atlanta gave us trouble. I'd like to stay away.
Yeah, Atlanta without DeJounte Murray last time took us 7 games. Remember?
No,
Trae
6.
Young killing us.
6.
And they just beat us 2 games without Trae Young.
No, 6, Joe, not 7.
Was it 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a tough series.
Yeah. Oh, Chicago would be very nice.
Yeah. Miami, I'll be you last year. I'll take Miami anytime now. They just don't have it.
Yeah. No, I'll take
Bam has to play like a wild man.
Yeah.
For them to be competitive now.
Yeah, I don't want Atlanta. I don't want Philly. Well, Indiana, I'll take Indiana.
Yeah, I'll take Indiana. We can, especially without Buddy Hield now. They don't have that third option.
Yeah, so I'll take Indiana, Miami, or Chicago. Yeah, we got to stay away from Atlanta and Philly in the first round, I think. So that's
and Philly. I don't think even if MB comes back, I don't think he'll.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah, he won't have the stamina or
be
in the because that was his knee, so you can't really get in basketball shape again.
No.
I mean, you can lift weights with your upper body, but you need legs to play basketball, and he hasn't been using them legs at all. So, I think that's gonna in the second half you'll be able to work him over.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very exciting. Playoffs starting, I think 2 weeks. I think maybe April 20th. So yeah, so
then I know it's the NHL is the 22nd.
Yeah, but so the playing games, obviously.
Yeah, you get a week off. Yeah, the Celtics have 1 road game in the next month.
Yeah,
a whole month with only 1 road game. Can
you
imagine?
Good.
They have the Bucks.
Home cooking. Don't even send any of the players, the good ones, to play the Bucks. Why would you do that? Just look. I'm all for putting them on ice. To be honest with you, we know these NBA players like their stats. That's why they're going to want to play.
Well, no, they don't care because it's all averages.
Right, but
they've got their average. That's why they won't shoot the ball at the end of the quarter. They won't take that long. You ever notice that?
Yeah,
guys like Tatum or Brown and them, they get paid on that shooting percentage, so they don't do it. You have to get a guy like Pritchard to do it.
Yeah, Pritchard does it. Yeah, he does it well. He's actually pretty good at it.
But that's because he's the only one who'll do it. Guys like him are the only one who'll do it that aren't dependent on their shooting on. So, jealous of the shooting percentage and making sure it stays good.
That's very funny. All right, Joseph, we're going to go to and nobody knows the draft more than Uncle Joe. Drake May and Daniels will be visiting the Patriots in the next week or so. Adam Schefter said today, pretty fait accompli, that Caleb Williams will go 1 and Daniels will go 2, and he expects Drake May to go 3. I think that sounds like just fine with me.
Oh, that's the way it'll go. Now, those 3 probably aren't the three best players in the draft, but quarterbacks are always overdrafted.
We don't know.
They're
You
so
don't
hard
know.
to come by.
Yeah. Um, just for kicks, and it has to be an incredible, incredible offer over the top. What would you take from the Vikings over the top, Joe? Because if you think that they're gonna, don't even tell me 11-23. Don't even tell me that.
Oh, I know. It's three. The price has been set. 3 number one picks. That's what, Washington paid to get up to RG3. That's what the 49ers paid to get up to get Lance. That it's kind of like the price
I
of
think it's
doing
gonna be more than
business.
that.
Oh, I think so too, because it all depends on where 11's not all that great.
No.
23 is even less so. And next year is probably going to be a middle fiddle too.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that because why do you want the quarterback this year? Why does it have to, why can't it be
Because
next year?
no,
Now, next year,
because I
you
want him
still,
developing, Joe. That's why. Because next year I want him developing.
well, you can develop another guy, develop your second string guy.
No,
You
no,
pick
come on. No, I would need 11-23, late round pick this year, and then 1 and 2 next year.
I don't think you're going to get it from the Vikings, though. Everyone thought Schefter had today. Everyone thought the Vikings had gone and gotten that first round pick from the Texans so that they could move up, get some more ammunition, so they'd have 11-23, so they could move up. Turns out it was Nick Caserio that went to them and made the deal. The Vikings weren't looking to move up. So maybe we got the Vikings all wrong, and they're going to take McCarthy or Penix at 11 anyways.
Well, I don't think, yes, I think Drake May's the guy. I think Crafts are definitely yielding their power stick right now, and they want a top young quarterback, marketing wise, too.
He looks the part. He's the biggest of the three, 6'4", broad. He looks like a
How big
quarterback.
was Bledsoe?
Bledsoe was, I think, even bigger. Bledsoe might have been 6'5". He was a big cat.
Oh, I love Bledsoe, but yeah, he's a big guy.
And Bledsoe had that big arm too, but he was a
Does he
little
remind you of Bledsoe at
overly.
all?
No, not in this game. No, to tell you the truth. But that's because the game has changed so much from the 90s to today, and the
Yeah,
college game too. They just don't look the same. The
he does look
quarterbacks
like
don't look
Allen.
the same.
He does look like Josh Allen.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a
But
lot bigger than Zach Wilson. People want to Zach Wilson, a lot bigger than that.
yes, he is,
Totally different players.
and he played in a much more competitive league too.
Yeah.
Wilson was playing against glorified Division II teams.
Look, if you would you agree with this statement? You draft Drake May, you get a 2-year pass.
Guaranteed. I'm giving him a 2-year pass anyways.
No,
I don't expect anything out of next year.
no, but Joe, you don't get a potential franchise quarterback, then nobody gets any passes.
Yeah. Oh, and Elliot Wolf now, remember, comes from the Packers, organization. He was schooled there. He was the understudy there. And, you've seen the way they've developed their quarterbacks over the years, Aaron Rodgers sat while Favre played, and then Jordan Love sat while Aaron Rodgers played.
Yeah.
And they bring him along slowly. Wolf had to notice that. I mean, he was like third or fourth on the pecking order there, but still, he got he must have said, "Hey, that works."
3 weeks from today, Joe. 3
Yep.
weeks from today, we'll be running our Grandstanders live show, and then it'll be our draft special. Look, I did not root against. I'm repeating it again. I did not root against the Patriots all year to not draft in the 3rd spot.
I had to root for him all year. I know it cheered louder when they hit that field goal against Denver.
What do you?
You have to. You're a fan or you're not.
That's come on, Joe. come on, that's a weakness. We're gonna work on that.
No, it's not. It's just it's in my blood, you know. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's in my blood too. But Joe, I mean, come on. So again, would be sitting here.
I know the term effects would
Okay,
were
so
worse.
Joe gets what he wants, and now we have the ninth pick in the draft. How's that working out for us?
Yeah, but well, we'll see.
So
You
you
can.
get your pom poms out. Woo!
Well,
We're
Tom Brady was 199th pick in the
Oh,
draft.
just stop it. We're 6-11.
Pat
Woo!
Mahomes. What was Patrick Mahomes? Was he even in the top
He
10?
was in the first round. I think he was
He
11.
was first round, but he was later in the first round.
Yeah, Joe, I want the
Aaron Rodgers was like in the 20s.
pom poms, Joe. You get all
Uh,
excited.
Josh Allen wasn't in the top 10.
Oh, yeah, he was.
No, remember the Bills traded up to grab him? He might have been right around 10.
All right, I don't know.
10 to 14, right in that range.
All right, we're gonna go to the Boston Bruins to wrap up the show, Joe. Yeah, again, there's no great team in hockey. Did you see the Rangers and the Devils? What was it, 2 nights ago?
Yeah. Last night,
Oh, wow.
8 guys kicked
Hockey
out before the game started.
hockey should do that like at least once a week.
Well, that Rempe does that every game.
What's
Every
that?
game he's in a fight.
No, but they
Yeah.
all dropped the gloves at the puck drop.
Yeah, but Rempe started it, and he's the one you sent that fight, his first
Yeah,
night up, when
yeah.
he was like knocked out on his feet, and everyone beat him up for the rest of the next week. Every game he got in a huge fight in the first 2 minutes, and that's his stick. He gets in
Yeah,
a fight.
he's not gonna last a year or two. You can't be
Oh no, he's gotten knocked out a couple times already.
Yeah, I feel
I mean,
bad.
he's a big kid that throws some serious haymakers. He's done damage too, but he's been knocked out a couple times.
I feel bad for the kid. They're really just using that kid.
Yeah, the Rangers are. They're just using him to go and make a statement, start the game, intimidate
Yeah.
the other team.
I mean, I mean, that's not a career. I mean, and these guy's gonna end up, with his rocks all
Punch
scrambled.
drunk.
Yeah, exactly. I feel really bad for him, and then the NHL should somehow intervene with that. I mean, they talk about a nice young man. I'm sure he's a very nice young man. I mean, you can't just have a goon like that. I mean, he's as big of a goon as I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean,
they make no bones about it.
no, they don't. And he's just a young kid. You
Yeah.
can't be doing that. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, he's wet behind the ears. He's like 21, maybe.
yeah. And of course, he's getting a lot of publicity being in New York, so he's into it. But again, we talk about the relief pitchers, the Quantrells and the Tanachis, Junichi,
You know,
Tazawa, who just get burnt out. But at least they last in the league for 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
And at least they know their name when they leave. This guy's gonna be Jesus.
Oh no, the Rangers fans will remember this kid for a long time, I'm sure.
I know, but still, when he'll be the
We
bouncer.
still remember Eddie Clear the Track Shack around here.
Yeah, you do, Joe. All right, Joe. Look, playoffs are coming soon. Do we have it in us? Do we have the depth?
I don't know. I'm with Timmy on this. They don't have the depth, but when you got good goaltending, and Almark has been fabulous lately, you always have a puncher's chance. And even if the other team's head and shoulders better than you, you have a puncher's chance when you have the great goaltender.
So you think
Swayman's been a little iffy, but he's streaky. He could get hot again in a heartbeat.
Tom Curran's reporting it's going to take a lot more than 3 first-round picks for the Patriots to move off that spot. Do you agree with him?
Oh yeah, I heard him say this earlier today.
And he's tapped in.
And he was talking. He wants 4.
4 number 1
No,
pick.
yeah, they don't have to all be. They might be the only one this year, 3 down the line in other years too. You were saying so.
Yeah, I don't.
I would like 2 this year.
Yeah, I don't want. No,
and I'm fine with 2 this year, a first next year, and a second. I'm satisfied with that.
No, I need more, but this is only if they're not sold on May.
Yeah, if they're sold on May, you got to take them because a franchise quarterback's worth a dozen first-round picks.
Look, I don't think they have May look,
He's here tomorrow. He comes here
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, and I'm sure he'll be very good. Just take the quarterback. I don't really. If all of a sudden they trade down and we got to have some tackle from Iowa, and then the 23rd spot, an H back who with
Well,
good
no.
special teams.
Wait, we don't have to worry about taking the lineman from Iowa anymore because Belichick's not here. He would take his old friend Kirk Ferentz's guys from Iowa.
That strange pick was as bad as
As it turned out, City So, who didn't even start the year, really did well over the course of the year on the right side there at right guard.
again, I'm going to ask this each week until you find out what's the deal with Cole Strange. How injured is he?
I don't know. I think he's it's one of those I get the feeling it's one of those, how the athlete always they say, well, you can rehab it or you can have the operation. Rehab will take 6 months. And the operation can get you going in 3. They always take the rehab. They're afraid of getting cut. And it never works.
He
They
came
should have
into the
taken the
league.
operation. You see it in baseball, you see it in football, you see it in hockey, you see it in basketball. Never works. Look at Julius Randle today. He's been rehabbing. They decided, well, nope, he's got to have the operation. He's done for the year.
Cole Strange came into the league with a brace. He was born with a brace on his knee. It just, look, Belichick could have probably been a head coach somewhere this year. But Belichick, the GM, was the worst GM in the NFL in the last few years. So that's why he's not in the league. That's why he doesn't have a job, because he wanted to be the GM.
And he probably puts a lot of conditions on being a head coach. He might not even say he needs to be the GM, but I bet he puts a lot of conditions, and he does have final say.
Do you think he's a coach again? He coaches again.
I'm not sure now. Once he gets a year off, he's not going to want to go back to it, I don't think.
He's never going to be a coach again. He's going to retire.
He's not going to want to go back. And he's already told the TV people, no dice. He won't take a regular gig.
No,
so he's not going to take a regular gig on TV.
He's 70 years old. Went to as you know, you retired at 68, right?
Yeah, he's not going to go back after he's had a year off, because he won't even take a regular, a once a week job for TV. It's too much. He only wants to do spot starts, when he feels like it. He won't take anything regular that he has to do.
When you retired a year later, did you miss it at all?
No, not really.
Did you miss it at all? And how many years now?
No.
It's 3?
2, I think.
2. You don't miss it at all, right?
No, not at all.
Right. So, and you understand it. He's not going to miss it.
Yeah, he's not going to want to go back.
No. What does he want to do? Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning so he can look at film all day?
Yeah, he's not going to want to. I mean, he probably still has the passion for football and everything, and he'll still spend his days watching film and look at things, but it'll be through a different perspective. He'll be thinking about the old days, going back through his father's book. He's supposedly writing his book now.
Yeah. So he's done. And Ernie Adams, who was on Edelman's show, looks very happy in retirement.
Didn't he look like he was enjoying his retirement? He was laying back in the chair like
very happy. Yeah.
Most comfortable man in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I say, I look forward to someday resting on my laurels. That's what I want to rest on. Absolutely. All right, well, that's our show for tonight. Of course, I want to thank Uncle Joe, as he always comes through in the clutch. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
And next week, we'll bring back the professor and the chairman of the board.
Yes, that is absolutely right.